there, this is Jason Freed, and welcome to another episode of Design Decisions. Today I'm going to take you through the admin screens in Basecamp 3 and talk about a before and after. We're going to ship a new design in the next few days, and so I want to take you through before and compare you to after. But I also want to talk a bit about some of the ideas behind how we're presenting admin options inside Basecamp 3, because it's different than what we've done in previous versions of Basecamp. It's also different from a lot of the tools that I've seen out there. So let's take a quick look. If you go to the home screen in Basecamp 3, you're going to see a link up here in the top right corner called Adminland. And Adminland houses basically every administrative option, excuse me, inside Basecamp 3. So adding people, removing people, not just to projects, but to the account in general, billing stuff, upgrade stuff, renaming things that are sort of fundamental to the account, that kind of stuff, that all lives in admin land. Now, in previous versions of Basecamp, we had admin tools near the actual thing itself. So for example, if you wanted to rename a company or something like that, we would have it in the people section under companies, and you could rename companies there. If you wanted to change some other account information, there would be maybe a separate screen somewhere else where you do that. And if you wanted to do something else, you go somewhere else to do that. And there's a lot of sort of admin stuff sprinkled out everywhere. And that's fine. But we had a different idea for Basecamp 3, which is to say, if there's any admin related stuff at all, it's in one place, which is very much sort of the spirit of Basecamp 3, which is all the to-dos are in one place, all the discussions are in one place, that kind of stuff. So all the admin stuff is actually also in one place, and we call it Adminland. And you get to it from the home screen. There's a little link up here. Now, I'm going to show you two different versions, okay? The first version is the current version, and you'll notice that I'm in Safari for this, and you'll know I'm in Safari because there's a URL bar at the top. The new version is I'm going to be showing it to you in the Basecamp native app. That does not have a URL bar at the top. It just says Basecamp 3 up here, while this one will say Safari up here. So as I go back and forth, if you're not sure what you're looking at, just kind of look for Safari. That's the current version, and Basecamp 3 is the brand new version. The other thing I want to talk about when we get into it is actually another fundamentally different thing about how we structured admin tools in Basecamp 3, and that is that everybody can see the admin section, even if you're not an administrator. Now, let me take you through that. So I'm going to jump into the current version of Adminland. This is what Adminland looks like. Now, at the top of Adminland, you have a list of the current administrators. These are the people who actually have admin access on our account. And it says, and I'm one of them, here I am. It says, you're an admin, so you can manage people, rename or delete a company or organization, move projects from Basecamp 2 to Basecamp 3. This is for people who want to move from 2 to 3. Add or remove other administrators, change the default message category, set up who's on or what's shown on the home screen, etc. These are all the things I can do because I'm an admin. Now, I'm also an account owner. So since you're an account owner, you can also, or you can, actually, you're an account owner, so you can, might as well be accurate here, upgrade the account, handle billing and invoices, access any project or team, export data, et cetera, add more account owners and that sort of thing, okay? So it lists who has access to these things and what they can do. And then down below, we actually have another group called Basecamp staffers. If you work at Basecamp, you can also broadcast an in-app announcement or edit the current one. So these are the three sections inside Adminland. Now, before I show you the redesigned version of it, excuse me, I want to show you something that's kind of interesting. Excuse me. I'm going to switch to a different account. And on this other account, I'm not an admin. So first, let me go home. Again, just to be clear here, I am an admin on our account, and I can see these things. I'm an administrator and also an account owner, all right? And because of that, there's a link to Adminland, and I can do these things as well, okay? But I'm going to switch to a different account. I'm going to switch to an account I'm on for Know Your Company. Now, I don't actually have access to anything in this account right now, so it's kind of bare and empty. This is actually a good moment for me to see what it looks like not to have access to anything. It kind of gives me some ideas on how we can improve this. But anyway, that's a different video. There's also a link for Adminland. Again, I'm not an admin, but I still have this link. Now, why? Why would I still have a link to something I can't access? Well, people often want to know who can do what and why they can't do something. So this is the fundamental idea here. And if I stumble upon Adminland and I'm not an admin, here's what it looks like to me. It says Adminland is for admins and owners to manage people, billing info, data exports, etc. If you need something like that done, you'll need to contact an admin or owner. Administrators. Now this actually lists the people who are administrators. I'm not one of them, you'll see here, but I see who is. And then it says nudge an admin to manage people, change what's on the home screen, move projects between Basecamp 2 and Basecamp 3, excuse me, etc. Account owners. Claire is the account owner. She can do these sorts of things. So if I want one of those things done, I know who to talk to. Now, I am a Basecamp staffer, so I can do these things. But the real idea here is that, sometimes you like, well, who can change the categories or who can do this or who can do that? No one actually knows. Unless you're an admin, you can't do it, but you want to do it, but you don't know who to ask to do it. So we decided to say, well, look, if you're an admin, or if you're not, actually, let's say if you're not an admin, you can still go here and see what's possible, and you can see who the people are that you can ask for help. That is a fundamentally different approach to administrative tools. When you sprinkle admin stuff all over the place in different places, it's very hard to actually have information like this. But when you put it in one central place, you can show all the things that can be done and who can do those things. So we really like that setup here. So let me switch back to our account. Where I am an admin again. As you'll see, I can do these things and I'm an owner. Okay, so anyway, this is the current design. Now, this design is sort of a holdover from a previous design. We've redesigned most of the rest of Basecamp 3. We just launched that redesign a few weeks ago. But this design is a holdover. Now, we decided not to tackle this initial design, or this redesign. I should say, we decided not to tackle this section with the new redesign because it wasn't a higher priority. We wanted to get the other stuff out first. We knew we'd probably get back to it later. And so we just did, and I'm going to show you that. But this is sort of a good example, I think, of progressive, we talk about progressive enhancement in apps and whatnot. Well, it's actually progressive interface design development. We don't have to get everything bundled into a redesign in order to launch that redesign. We can get 80% of the app bundled in, or 90% of the app bundled in, or even less. And say that, you know what? The world's not gonna end. The company's not gonna go out of business. Things aren't gonna fall apart if this section is not redesigned along with everything else. So let's make things manageable. Let's make sure we can get things done in a short period of time. Let's release those things and then come back and do a once over here. So that's what we've done. This is the current version of Adminland. Let me show you the redesigned version that's gonna launch shortly. Now, actually, before I do that, sorry for the tease there. One of the things you'll notice in Basecamp, let's see, let me jump over to here. Actually, let me jump over to, oh, I don't know, let's go back to the Rework podcast. That's always a good project to look at here. You'll see that when you click on something, like to-dos, I just clicked on the to-do section. You'll see that there's like this we're calling it a back sheet, which is sort of a way to return back to the project. It also gives you a sense of hierarchy. You're now like on a page on top of the page that was on the desk, let's say, and you're in the Rework Podcast project. So if I click back on that, I'm going to go back to the Rework Podcast project. If I go into Docs and Files and then click on this image here, I'm now in Docs and Files on this image. And if I want to go back to Docs and Files, I can click Docs and Files, and I can click back to the Rework Podcast, and I can kind of back myself out, okay? So whenever you go into something, you have this back sheet behind you reminding you where you were and also giving you an option to get back to it very easily. And by the way, here's a little fun, let me show you a fun little interface design thing, which we're really proud of. So this is, of course, separate from what I was going to talk about, but it's kind of a cool example. So you can click the breadcrumbs, of course, to get back. But also, sometimes you don't want to have to be that precise. So you can just click anywhere in the back sheet and it'll always take you back one step. So I'm going to go back to Docs and Files. I could click Artwork, but I'm just going to click over here. It takes me back to Docs and Files. I'm going to click here again. It takes me back to the root project right there. And I can click it again and it takes me back to the project page. So it's kind of a nice way to back out really quickly. Okay, sorry, that was an aside. Anyway, you'll see that as you go into something, sheet pops up. Now, if we go back to Adminland currently, you go into Adminland and you go into any one of these sections like rename or delete a company or organization. We don't have the back sheet. What we actually have is this link that says back to Adminland. This is sort of the old design within the new design. And so we wanted to bring the back sheet concept to Adminland, but we also wanted to kind of sprinkle it with a little bit of fun. Usually admin sections are neglected. The back office stuff always looks the worst. And we're guilty of that as well. You should see some of the things we have on the back end in terms of tooling. But since this is customer facing, we wanted to make sure it looks a little bit better. So the new version of Adminland looks like this. I'm gonna flip back and forth again. Here's the current version. Here's the new version. Okay, so technically, basically about the same. But what we've done is we've made it sort of a little bit more fun up top. It's like an admin land. So let's show the mountain, the Basecamp mountain, a little bit of a cloud. That's kind of fun, right? Whatever. We still have the list of administrators up here. Now, instead of just having links that are bullets, we have links that have icons, which is a nice little touch. Again, look, the icons don't really matter, but it feels nice. So that's cool. Same thing down here. The administrator icons are blue. The account owner icons are this orange yellow color. Everything gets an icon, and the staff stuff gets red ones. So, a little bit of visual improvement. It feels a little bit better. It's also wider. You'll see the sheet here. If you go back and forth, you'll see the sheet's wider. It has a better and stronger presence now, and it lines up with all the other pages. But what's actually sort of more in line with the redesign now is, again, if you were to click on like manage people before, you'd go to the screen. Sorry, this is actually a pretty slow screen. Let me step back actually. Let me go to rename or delete a company. So here's a bunch of companies that are in our account. Again, you do that, you end up on this page and you have to go back to this link up here. If you do that here, now what you're going to see is there's a back sheet. Now we have this Adminland back sheet, which is in line now with the rest of the design. The rest of the screen is about the same, a little bit wider, new typography, and a few things like that. But now it feels a little bit better, and I can just click back here in the space and get back to Adminland. The same light blue sky color is carried over to the bar. So change message categories. Now, if I did that in the other one, change message categories. Also, the design on this one's kind of busted. It's very narrow. It's kind of strange. And the new design is a little bit better there, although it could still probably use some improvement. The idea here was not to make every one of these screens perfect. It was to bring them into the new design fundamentally, with the back sheet for navigation and for sort of wayfinding, plus adding the new headers where we have a centered name with the dark black bar, thicker black bar down below, that sort of thing. So anyway, it's just a nice sort of touch to make the design feel cohesive now. So now if I go back home, let me jump to rework podcast, jump in there, jump into a section, back sheet and the whole thing. If I go back now to Adminland, I've got that. If I jump into something, I've got a back sheet. So it just feels nice and comfortable, I think, there. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. This design should be launching shortly, hopefully next day or so. We feel pretty good about it. It's, again, a progressive improvement. We launched this redesign with the back sheets and the whole new identity a few weeks ago. Now we're finally getting to this. And again, the other thing I want to touch on is that I think this is a really important thing, is that administrative options, some people want to know who can do something, and most tools don't tell you that. So we decided to make sure that everybody can get to the admin section and see who the admins are, so they can actually and see what the admins can do or the owners can do. So if they go, oh, that's what I want, who do I talk to who can do that? There they are, and you can go off and talk to them. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this little quick tour of the admin section, some of the ideas behind it, the fundamental concept behind it, plus the redesign that we are about to launch. Thanks for watching. If you have any other questions, post them down in the comments below. I'll review those. And if there's any other ideas for future episodes, post a comment down below as well, and I will try to do something about it. Thanks again for watching. See you around.